Hey guys, what is up? This is Cody, or xCodeh. How's it going today? Today's video, I got a crazy story for you. One of the times that I tripped on shrooms, we ended up running from the cops at the end of it. Absolutely wild. If you guys enjoy the video, be sure to like it and subscribe with the notifications on. And if you choose not to, you're not invited to my birthday party. The story takes place when I was about 16 years old. I've only done mushrooms a handful of times, maybe 3-4 times max. It's always been that thing where I enjoy it. I always have a good time whenever I do it, but I'm always really worried about it because I don't like getting sick. And whenever you eat mushrooms, there's always that chance. There's always that in the back of your mind. There's always that chance. And the first time I ever did mushrooms, I have a YouTube video about this, check it out. The first time I ever tripped, I ended up eating half a tin of Altoids. I was just popping Altoids every 3 seconds, thinking it was gonna help the situation, but it literally did nothing. But it was that tripping time of the year. End of the summer, beginning of autumn, when the full moons are out. It's getting a little chilly mode, but not too chilly to be walking around at night. It was me and 4 people. We're chilling at my friend's house. We ended up getting this plug to come by and give us like 10 grams of mushrooms or something around that. We ended up all getting about 1.7, which isn't like an insane dose. I know that if you get up to the 3.5 and up, the 5 gram plus heroic dose craziness. That was never what I was about, honestly. I'd always try to take it light with psychedelics. There's a couple times with acid where I took, a tab or 2 more than I wanted to. But especially with shrooms, I was always really careful about how much I would take. And this being the second time I ever tripped, I was a little bit nervous. Only because the first time, I didn't really have like the craziest visuals. I definitely was not sober, I'll tell you that for one thing. But I was anticipating this second time to be crazier because the first time I felt like the quality of the shrooms wasn't top notch, and this time we had a different plug. We had the better plug. We had the one that the whole town was talking about, how these were just fucking awesome. It was probably 5 or 6 at night. We get the shrooms. We go up to my buddy's kitchen. We all make the half peanut butter sandwich, the piece of bread, the peanut butter, the mushrooms on there. Fold it in half, boom. Now, like every other time I've done psychedelics, the hesitation builds. I'm holding this half sandwich in my hand. All my other friends have already halfway through, chewing through, tasting that fucking barnyard hay, dirty peanuts. What do you think it tastes like in the comments down below? I think it tastes like dirty nature. I don't know how to describe it. I see all my friends finish theirs, and I just down it really quick. Chew it up real good. You gotta chew it up real good whenever you do it. Makes the situation a lot easier to digest, I believe. We're all just sitting there. I'm getting nervous as fuck. The come up on shrooms is always a little weird. It's been a long time since I've done this, so explaining it in detail is a little bit tough. But you just get this real weird feeling inside. Just this weird vibe in the room almost. But thankfully, instead of just sitting in a room for the entire trip, I had convinced everybody previous to eating the mushrooms that we're going to go on this giant walk all the way over to this like state park, local park area. Because if we walked down the main road, probably about a mile, it connects to the bike path that connects all the way to this little park. And the only sketchy part about this was walking on the street. So if we left soon enough, by the time we made it to the bike path, we would be fine. And that's exactly what happened. We walked all the way to this bike path, like a mile down the road. It's getting dark outside. So we're looking, category 4 out of 10 sketchy walking down the road. But it's not enough to cause alarm. The first moment I realized that I was feeling something is when we were walking down this bike path. We're about maybe 75% of the way to the park. If we're talking total journey percentage, we're rocking maybe 80% of the way to the park. There's not a worry in my damn mind because we're literally in the middle of the woods. The closest thing to us are like houses, but they're like hundreds of feet away, and there's no way anybody would hear us laughing and just talking about random shit. But as I was saying, the moment I realized that I was feeling something is when I was looking up at all the trees that were kind of just towering over this bike path. It almost looked like they were curving in on themselves and creating this long hallway of nature. The best way I can describe it was I felt like I was in that fancy restaurant in the SpongeBob episodes. It almost felt like I was walking down a long tunnel, which was really cool. I thought it was awesome. And the next thing I remember looking down is on the sides of the bike path, all of the foliage and the leaves had a little bit of like moisture on them, and they were overly shiny, way too shiny. But it wasn't really intense. I'm not trying to make it sound like I was like Hollywood movie tripping, because that's not what it was. It was very subtle, but it had just this really interesting feeling. So we made it to this park. I remember this feeling of relief. We finally made it there, and at this point we're all tripping. We're all giggling, having a good time, just laughing at nothing. And I remember I had the feeling of my friends tripping way harder than I was. We kind of like grouped off. Like there was 5 people total, including me there. And 3 of the people there were kind of like almost on their own level. Like they were tripping 2 levels up from me and the other person there. And I remember going over and asking him like, hey dude, are you tripping? And he's like, yeah, I guess. So I'd already felt like I was in the SpongeBob episode a little bit. So I knew I was tripping. But I was not, you know, on their level, like laughing and seeing things in the clouds and stuff. That wasn't on that level yet. And it was a little bit weird too, because I wasn't like close friends with this other guy that was on the same level as me. So I remember wanting to smoke some weed, because I had known that if I smoked a little weed, maybe I'd get into the giggle mode. Maybe I'd advance a couple levels on the trip scale. Because I'll tell you, for one thing, man, sometimes, man, you're tripping. You take a hit of weed, that's a 10x right there. All right, it gets weird. So we venture off to this picnic table, kind of roofed over area. We're in 2 groups. I'm sitting over on one picnic table, a couple other friends on the other one, and I'm taking out these fucking immaculate, best fucking weed I had in years. Just little tiny jars that I was keeping for this trip. I kept these 3 different buds that were just so fucking dank. I remember one of them was just this like purple bud covered in trichomes. I'm sitting there with my phone light, just looking at it, just getting lost in the trichomes and just how beautiful it was, smelling it, just incredible. I asked my friend for his bowl, and I'm packing this little tiny bowl. I'm taking a hit, passing it around. And I remember exhaling this hit and just closing my eyes. But I didn't like close it all the way. Like it was just like, had my eyes open just a little bit. And I don't know where this light source was coming from. It might have been my friend lighting the lighter from across the picnic table. I remember seeing this weird distorted image of like this long robed guy with like a long lantern stick. And I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I have this vivid memory of just like seeing that for a couple split seconds and like blinking, opening my eyes. And it was just my friend with his lighter. It was like a combination of my eyes being blurry, being almost closed, and then my mind tripping off or something. But I'll always remember that. The fucking robed lantern man. After I smoked, I remember looking around and just feeling uncomfortable. All my friends felt fine. I was always that person to ask them, like, yo, you feeling okay? You okay? You freaking out? Just the worst kind of person to trip with. And I was chain smoking cigs, back-to-back cigs, could not get enough. There was only 2 images I saw when I would smoke. It was lighting the first drag and finishing it. Like, there was no in-between. I didn't even notice how much I was smoking. If I had 3 packs of cigs that night, I probably would have smoked them all. On top of my friends fiending at the same rate, coming over and asking me for a bogey every 10 seconds. The pack went, I'll tell you that. And I remember feeling super uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I was like, man, when is this going to be like the last time I tripped? When is it going to... Because there was this pivotal point where it's like the mushrooms went through my stomach or something, and then it was straight. Like I was just feeling good. But up until that point, it was just uncomfortable. I remember we went over to this beach area near a pond, and I'm sitting on this swing set, just looking up at the sky, just going back and forth. I look down and 2 of my friends are tripping balls doing fucking snow angels in the sand. And I'm like, man, why can't this be me right now? Like, I don't know, I just feel weird. And then I looked up at the sky. It was nuts. It was just like the moon was just illuminating the sky to the point where it was like, all right, man, this is not night. Like, this is crazy. And I remember one of the clouds really close to the moon looked like it was a triangle. Like, it formed into a fucking triangle. And I'm like, holy shit. All right, I'm tripping right now. And that's the moment. As soon as I saw the fucking triangle cloud, the Illuminati, bro, dude, the fucking triangle cloud, something just switched. It was just like the first trip. It was like the mushrooms were digested. Now I'm having a good time. I immediately just felt great, started laughing with my friends. I walked over to the sand, sat down in the sand with them. We're just talking about random stuff, laughing hysterically. This definitely wasn't one of those trips where it was like a lot of emotional thinking, and it was more of just like what you're not supposed to take psychedelics for, just like giggling and having a good time, I guess. But maybe I was too young to even absorb what I was thinking about. I definitely remember just freaking out for the majority of it. But then this pivotal moment when I look up at the clouds and it was just like, all right, now I'm gonna have a good time now. So it's maybe halfway through the trip. We're all tripping balls. It's getting late though, all right? Like I said, it was 7 o'clock at night when we were taking them. We might have taken them at 8 or 9, and then we're walking down main roads all the way to the park. Probably 10 o'clock at night now, if I had to guess, maybe 11. And we realize we have to make the venture back. This seems like way longer of a journey than the way there, I'll tell you that for one thing. But it almost seems fun because we're in this like mystical mode, this mystical feeling. And as we're about to get back onto the bike path that connects all the way back to the road, it's a long fucking walk down this bike path. Right before we got on the path, I remember looking over to my left and there's this big open baseball field, and the moon was shining down and there's this layer of dew over the grass, and it just looked like it was glowing. Absolutely fucking beautiful. We get back on the bike path and it takes us so long, just outrageously long, to get all the way back. I remember I was a little scared going back because like middle of the fucking night, middle of the woods, we're hearing animals go around us and shit. You were going through the woods at night, there's always something watching you. At least in Connecticut. We're kind of just like standing side by side on the bike path, so there's no one like left behind that's gonna get eaten by a mountain lion. So this is where the title of the video comes in. You made it all the way here. Put the 2 words Pineapple Express in the comments down below. And while you're at it, like the video, do it. So we make it all the way back to the main road. All the way down the bike path. Now we're walking down the main road. We're all about like, if I had to say 1 out of 10 tripping, we're probably about a 6. We're easing down from the peak of the trip. So we're still laughing and having a great time walking down this road. But you know, you got the pep in your step, all right? You got the hustle mode on, where there's no need for dilly-dallying. We're trying to get back to his house, and we're getting close. Probably a couple street signs away. We're almost in the home stretch to his house. There's a long stretch of road ahead of us, and then a fork at the end of that where you can go 2 different ways. We had to go right. And then shortly after taking that right, just around the corner was my friend's house. We make it all the way just about in front of the fork. And then we see headlights coming down the left side of the fork, coming towards us, just really slow. Keep in mind, this is probably 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe even 2 in the morning at this point. We're 5 backpacked teenagers walking down a main road. And as these headlights get closer, I just get this fucking feeling. My heart drops. Because I know I could visually see from this distance that I'm looking at the cars, it is 2 SUV police cop lights. It's a very distinct visual. And as they get a little bit closer, you see the fucking light rack on the top. So at the same time of us making it to the fork in the road and we're taking the right turn to go back to my friend's house, this cop car drives very slow and passes us, like so slow that he got a good look of all of us. But he just keeps driving, keeps going down all the way behind us and just keeps going. Now we're full fucking panic. Everybody's looking behind us. I am freaking out because I got 3 different jars of bud in my pocket, and I'm sitting there just going through all my pockets, and what's that? On my left fucking cargo short pocket, I brought a ½ ounce of weed that I thought I left back at the house. I'm sitting there tripping balls, taking everything out of my pockets. We're putting everything into this one backpack, and one of my friends there he's like, all right, just put it all into one. I'll take the blame. Dude, what a homie, huh? Everything's in one backpack. We're like, all right, just walk back, just walk back. I turn around and I see the cop car just stop. My heart drops. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to get arrested while I'm tripping. Everybody in the group just keep walking, just keep walking. I look back again, the cop is turning around. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening. I couldn't believe it. And one of the friends that was there, he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna run. He takes 1 step off the road and he's about to bolt right into the woods. And it's funny because he was about to bolt into swamp. It would have been fucked. My friend grabs him by the shirt, looks him in the face and was like, shut the fuck up and keep walking. It's gonna be fine. This was completely out of character for that dude, by the way. Like he would normally not say things like this. But man, I'm glad he did. He got him back into the line and we just keep walking. And this cop car, straight up out of the fucking movie Super Troopers. This guy goes Tokyo Drift, pedal to the metal, floors it, and just whips by us. Like so quickly that, you know, if you're standing on the side of the road and a tractor trailer goes by and you get that whoosh of wind, little wind action at you, this guy just fucking floors it. No lights on or anything. And as soon as he's out of vision ahead of us, we're like, all right, run. We just start fucking running as fast as we can. We ended up cutting through a couple of my neighbors' front yards, through a bunch of trees. We've made it all the way, ran in the back of my friend's house. As soon as we made it back to the house, we went around the house up to his driveway. Because at that point, what the fuck are they going to do? We're at my friend's house, private property. Fuck them, right? And we're sitting in his driveway, and we look kind of through the trees a little down the road. And what do we see? What the fuck do we see? We see this cop parked right on the other side of the town line. So what we think happened was this cop was a cop from the town over, for whatever reason, was patrolling past his jurisdiction. So he couldn't stop us, all right? So he was waiting for us to continue down the road, not even like a mile more, and he was just gonna get us right then and there, dude. He's probably sitting there rubbing his hands together, eating a donut, dude. His night was set. So as soon as we got back inside, man, that was just the relief. I really, in my heart, believed. I was like, this is it. I'm going to fucking jail because I'm tripping balls. This is gonna fucking suck. Got my weed back and just decided to just smoke a bunch. And I will say, at all the times that I did shrooms, everybody, as soon as we got back, had a stomach ache. Felt like shit. Just terrible. That's one of the reasons I don't really like shrooms, man. If I was ever going to do it again, I'd probably crush it up really, like into a powder. Maybe get one of those fucking cheap blenders. Put it into some capsules or a tea or something. So like I said previously in the story, this wasn't one of those trips where it was like, I kind of felt one with nature. It wasn't one of those super intense trips that I took information from. I don't think I did enough, or maybe I was just so distracted. You know, waiting for the visuals to kick in, or probably just too young in general to be doing this stuff anyways. I can't believe my friend was just willing to take all the weed and all the risk like that. He was just like, just put everything in the bag, bro, I got it. Like, holy shit. That would have been that would have been bad. He would have gone to fucking jail for intent to distribute, because it would have been over a half ounce. It was literally the illegal amount. Like, you can have under 14 grams, just get a ticket. But it was literally 14 grams plus 3 extra little jars of bud. It would have been fucked. Always be responsible. Doing anything like this in life. Setting, knowledge, information, research before ever doing anything like this in life. Obviously, I'm not going to recommend you to go out and do it, man. Don't ever make a big decision in your life off of some random YouTuber's one video. Please do some research. Before this video ends, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody supporting me on Patreon. I'll put a list of all the names on screen right now. For $1 or $2 a month, you can support the channel and get access to the secret, unlisted videos that I've been making over on Patreon. Link in the description for more information. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any cool shroom stories, and they are some wild stuff. I'll tell you that for one thing. It is just this whole realm of thoughts, this whole realm of thinking that you'll never experience if you never try it once in your life. So, and definitely not good to do at a young age. That's probably there's some good advice for you. I wouldn't be doing it at 15, 16 like my jabroni ass was. Go check out my previous video. There's gonna be a card at the end of the video. I held an alligator, bro. Check it out. Thank you for spending the time out of your day to watch this long video. I hope you guys have a snazzy day. Stay high, stay lifted, stay snazzy. Peace. Follow my cat on Instagram.